Hello, sir. We are delighted to have you here. This is just going to be a very informal interview where we discuss what we want to understand about the industry. So we shall dive right into it.
Sure, absolutely. It's a pleasure to be here, and thanks a lot for inviting me.
Yes, sir. So, as a leader who has seen both global as well as local challenges, what do you think are some of the key success factors that actually uh, decide how the execution of the plan looks like?
It's an interesting question, right? And let's define strategy. When I work with organization, strategy simply put is choosing your playground
Yeah.
and then the probability to win. Most of our time and effort goes into choosing the playground and less into the probability of winning, right? What does probability of winning means? It essentially means your odds to succeed, which essentially means to create an economic moat, which essentially also means have the right unit economics, and at the end of the day, driving profit from the core. It's important to not forget these fundamentals in the modern age, because if you are driving profit from the core, the profit could be used to build adjacent markets, right? So to put things into context, I would say three things. One is simplify, the second is contextualize, and the third is keep on asking the so what, right? And all of the three question gets into getting into a state of flow for the organization, for yourself, right? Now, let me take a quick example here, right? To tell you what exactly I mean, right? Let's say I start with a market which has a higher TAM.
Yes.
Okay. Now, bigger TAM necessarily doesn't mean a bigger market for the company to grow. It's also important to see the depth and the penetration level. That's what I would say, simplifying your segments and industries to play. The second, which is contextualize, I see a lot of companies who wants to scale but haven't found their product market fit yet.
Right.
It is essential to have the product market fit first and then scale. That's where it goes organic. The third, which is the so what analysis, TAM is always dynamic, right? I mean, the market conditions changing, the macro conditions are changing, consumer behaviors are changing. So, in my experience, I have seen companies historically who have achieved a good percentage between SAM and TAM are the ones who are able to create categories of themselves, like Blinkit.
Yes.
While you're building a product, it's also pertinent how you're changing consumer behavior and perception. And it goes right through your value chain, right from your marketing, brand activation to your fulfillment and distribution, right? So essentially, I feel what stays with global and regional strategies, and especially on the execution side of it, is how do you weave the strategy into the transformation, right? You need to know five core things,
Right.
and that has to be communicated well in your organization. First, the knowledge of who you are today, your industry, your business, your competitors, your rivals, and the distribution, right? Second, knowledge of where you want to go tomorrow, which is very important to target state. A clear awareness of that is important. The third is what it takes in terms of time, cost, effort, capability, and the investment you need to make, right? And the fourth is most critical, which is the human element here. With so much generative AI coming in, so many talks of will AI replace human jobs? AI is your friend, right? And it will only help you enable and make you efficient. But still, humans are probabilistic in nature. They're not deterministic, right? We are not a piece of code where you could predict we will behave in the same manner to a different problem tomorrow, right? So it's essential to understand motion is not progress,
Right.
and progress cannot be one-off or individual dependent. So a culmination of all of it will help us build the right strategy and execute it all the way through.
So that was very insightful. So the way that you mentioned how we should look at TAMs and how we should look at market penetration before we actually enter the category, and then what are the key factors that we should understand of an organization to actually go ahead with any strategy that we have looked into. So that's very insightful. So based on that, and since we're discussing communication, I wanted to understand how, as a strategic leader, you actually communicate your vision to the team as well as to external stakeholders. Because that and understanding the goal and explaining it to in very precisely is half job done, I think.
Right? Absolutely, and that's the most important piece of the puzzle, right? Whatever you are building in your boardroom or your strategy room, if that doesn't get communicated to your organization, it will not succeed, and that's where we see a lot of transformations failing over in the mid-year, right? So look, I mean, essentially, change is for good, change is for growth, for organization, for individual, in the perspective of your skills, your growth, your financial capability, your network, your exposure, right? And that has to go very clearly in the communication. If we as individuals can communicate at a stakeholder level, this is what it takes, and strategy with and not strategy for, that's one key goal. The second, I would say, is very important to understand the ways of communication and how do you run the cadence in terms of the execution, right? Because building trust is so important and of paramount importance. I'll take a quick case in here, because what we're trying to say is, while we are building strategy, how do we build systems and processes, right? I firmly believe the future of leadership is all about managing mindsets and not managing people, right? Individuals are not there with the organizational manager, they're for the higher purpose.
Correct.
So till the time, if you, first of all, you have to understand your employees' higher purpose and make them understand themselves, right? So as an organization, we do a lot of psychometric test, we make them understand who they are really as a person, right? I mean, from a breadth of extrovert to introvert and between ambivert and so many traits, right? The second important aspect here is all about building the right mechanism to work, a system which could scale. And the third is all about, can we build the organizational behavior? That's the culture, because and these are easier said than done. It's so difficult to build in and on the ground, because see, I mean, it follows the Maslow's law of hierarchy, right? If your company and your ways of working are at the psychological need and not at the self-esteem need, you cannot ask the employee to elevate to a purpose if the pay parity or the basics are not there in place, right? I'll take a quick example. For example, I'll quote Sawyer effect. I'm not sure if you have heard about it.
Okay. Yes, I know a little bit about it, but
okay.
If you can go into that.
Sure. So there was a research conducted for on the play school childrens, right? And they were divided into 3 groups. The task was, they used to do painting in their free time, right? That was play for them. They were divided into 3 groups. The first group was said, you do the painting or drawing for 1 hour and we will give you a reward. Second group, it was unrewarded. I mean, they will not tell that they will give them reward, but they would give them reward. So they won't know that they'll get the reward at the end of it, right? And the third is no reward. Interestingly, what was found after 3 weeks is the group 2 and group 3, where it was uncertain and no reward, stopped doing drawing in their free time. They converted their play to work. So it's so important here as a cultural mindset that you don't convert your play to the work, right? Which essentially brings me to the summary of this. If you are able to build your purpose and first of all find your purpose, then you will relate passion into your purpose, and the passion will fuel, because work will not feel like work. You will do for a higher purpose. What will happen if you get the passion? You will automatically get perseverance, because perseverance is very important. It's a hard world. You need to hustle. You don't get things right on the first and second go. So perseverance, and if you get perseverance in check, you will improve your performance. So that's the idea?
So the idea that first you make a person understand their purpose, and then you align the purpose with the organization, and that is how you motivate your employees. It's such a beautiful thing, and it is so important in the modern world where the Gen Z is just stepping into the organization, and they relate to a higher purpose much more than just rewards.
Absolutely.
So that's very insightful. So moving on to now, we would like to understand more about emerging technology, since since Tech Mahindra is such a big technological firm. I want to understand how Tech Mahindra is looking at business transformation for its clients as well as for themselves within the organization, and how it is adapting the employees as well as the leadership is adapting to it, and how we as students can adapt to the coming technologies. For example, artificial intelligence or any other technology that Tech Mahindra is looking at.
Absolutely, good question. I represent Bond, which is part of Tech Mahindra, and we do CX-led transformation for business, right? If I have to put it in one word, today's customers are so demanding. They are asking us, know me, show me that you know me, value me, reward me, and then finally pamper me in terms of the loyalty loop, right? To do all of this, the first of it, we don't lead with technology. We lead with business empathy and asking the so what of the business. So we understand the problem and the consumer. But essentially, technology is helping us do a lot of things efficiently and easily. For example, the first one is customer 360, right? So there are platforms like CDP where you would build a customer 360 with integrating your zero party, first party, and second and third party data, right? And I would know for person A what are the nudges for the person to convert he or she from awareness phase to the consider phase to the transact phase, right? From a business goal, what does it mean is the first phase, awareness, is all about, do I know my need? So there would be a lot of educational content published on your channel of use. Let's say you use Google or app, right? So what is your need? The second is, if you understood your need correctly, is my brand in top of mind awareness for that, right? That's very important. That's where the keywords, AdWords, the right technologies, performance marketing, precision marketing plays in, and the right websites are playing, right? The third is, okay, you are in my top of mind awareness, you're the top 2 brands if I go to your need. Then it goes to the company in the entire sales funnel. How do I nurture and convert that client into my business, right? The fourth is transact, which is on digital. 2 clicks or 3 clicks, which Amazon has kind of succeeded in, and every brand today is replicating. If I have a clear job to be done and I'm on your website, it should not take me more than 2 or 3 clicks to get it transacted, right? The fifth is very interesting, where each industry is shaping up differently. Advocacy and loyalty. When I talk to luxury brands, their community building, connoisseur liking is very high. When you're talking to some fashion and apparel brands, they are also changing into a lifestyle provider. For example, Nike is they're not selling shoes; they're talking about lifestyle and how can you bring in lifestyle changes, right? So these are very important. Now, some of the technology advancements which are happening are in the area of AI. One is agentic, which is essentially building on top of your business rules and business intelligence layer. It could understand the context, it could build decisions, and it could build business rules on the go.
Okay.
So that's one where we are partnering with a lot of vertically specialized company because they know the domain, and building platform go to market.
Okay.
So platform as a service to outside, right? The second one is generative or conversational AI, where we see a lot of value, especially in the content segment. A lot of it could be streamlined, made consistent, and again, aggregation of content into output, right? One key thing which we are trying to figure out, and we have launched, we are working with Indonesia government in terms of building those LLMs, are building the right knowledge graphs, which is important, and that's the game. Ultimately, if you're asking me, knowledge graph as a service is the ultimate game for the industry, right? And it's very tough. It is very tough to build a probabilistic knowledge graph to clone Aditya Basu for all the triggers and the event, right? It will take some time, but the computational power is exponential there. That's the third. The fourth technology advancement is omni-channel seamless journeys, where if I'm buying from channel 1 in Jamshedpur, going back on my flight to Delhi or Mumbai, I should be able to call someone with some other location, return through different channel, and everything is seamless, right? So these are primarily the four core technology advancements which are happening, and we are working in terms of POCs, working with a lot of platform players, working with our clients in each and every industry to build certain value realization methods.
So the fact that you showed me a journey for the client also, that first know them, then show them, then pamper them, is how I think sales in the industry is done, and eventually how you showed me that this is the areas in marketing that you guys are working in, especially in marketing. So I could see a clear flow when you're understanding a consumer from the very beginning of the education stage and then leading them onto the transaction stage. It is fascinating. Even things like when agents will come in and how you guys are building on top of actually organizational layers is actually very fascinating to know about. So on that note, I would like to understand, could you tell us more about some of the challenges that these clients face when they want to shift into more of adopting these technologies, and what are the services that they're looking for per se?
Yeah, so the first one, we overwhelm ourselves with the technology. The question is not about technology, it's about the business problem, right? So understanding and problem definition is the key, and we partner and collaborate with a lot of our clients in terms of defining the problem right. That's one. The second challenge is value realization out of any technology investment, right? And a lot of CXOs I'm talking to, because the technology cycle is of 3 to 4 years, you made an investment, the platform changes, the whole technology changes, and what you do with that platform, legacy platform, right? So it's very important, and a lot of companies are focusing on value realization, which essentially means your core remains the same. Your tertiary concentric circles in terms of integrations, in terms of go-to-market changes. So that's the second. And the third is the right KPIs to use, right? I had a very interesting quote stating, too much revenue is good, but optimal revenue is best. Which essentially means that the more you spend on ad spend, the return on ad spend, ROAS as a metric, your sales will grow, but the profitability doesn't, right? And it is not organic. Essentially, this principle applies to a lot of parallels in our life, in terms of technology, in terms of business, in terms of people, in terms of processes. So we have to be very sure what's the right balance in taking a leap into the future and understanding the context of your company, your industry.
So on that note, I would like to understand, as we as MBA students, what is the one advice that you would give us with regards to our careers, since we're just stepping into the industry? For even the first year, we're just stepping into our summer internships. What is something that we should look forward to or just know about the industry?
Right. I think you guys are brilliant. I mean, anyways, you will figure out how a problem needs to be solved. But the element which you need to have in is enjoy the journey, enjoy the movement, and be curious and be adaptable, right? And there are certain nuances which I see if you all can build in, it helps. For example, one is legometric. This term where you measure the unknown, which essentially means being aware about what do you know and what you don't know, right? And this goes with the skills, with the industry skills, with the context, right? Some of you will start as generalists, some of you will start as specialists, and there is a time when both of it merge together, right? And it's important to understand the sphere where you operate and what lies outside the sphere. That's that. The third thing I would say is be authentic and true to your character. A lot of us forget who we truly are, and then operate into a process and stop being authentic. At business level, at leadership level, I think the one trait which is valued most is authenticity over accuracy any day.
Thank you so much, sir. The discussion has been very insightful, even with regards to my understanding and the viewers' understanding of how technology firms work, and what are the things that clients are looking from a technology firm, it's been very exciting. So just want to thank you for that.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.